What's up out there? Let's talk about the Wildwood and the ascendancies associated with it. I've been playing a lot of that here in the last day, and I wanted to just kind of give my thoughts on it and the things that I've found with it. So I thought I'd start off with what the ascendancies are in my experience with them. So first and foremost, I think the first one that I ran into was the Warlock of the Mists. And in my opinion, the purple wisps that you see, those are the most common. That I run into that constantly, and I'm getting sick of running into them. I've kind of gotten to the point where I just kind of go the other way when I see the purple stuff because it's usually a death sentence for me. So I just kind of avoided it. The Warlock portion of it, and now that I'm looking at the wiki page that actually talks about what this is for, it's for corpses and curses and life manipulation. I really think this is going to fit the Scion Exsanguinate build that I'm looking at fairly well, so I'm kind of curious to see how that goes, but maybe not, because it seems like everybody's going Primalist, and I understand why. We'll get into that in a second, but the very first one that I tried was this Warlock of the Mists. I don't remember what ascendancy nodes I picked on it, but I'm playing a Bone Shatter build, and I wanted the Tincture one. So the time I did get to the Tincture one for the very first time, the game crashed on me, so I didn't even get to try it, and then the next one that popped up was Primalist. So I did get into the Primalist one for a brief minute and then switched over to the Magi one once it came back around. So from a perspective of trying them all, I gave a lot of time to the Tincture one, the Magi. I've now switched over to Primalist as well, and we'll get into what I did with the Magi one here in a bit, but I just wanted to kind of talk about these in general. In my opinion, or in my experience, I have found that the purple wisps are far more common than anything else. I've actually think the primal one, the blue ones, are the second most common, and the yellow seems to be the least common. I seem to get the Magi, or at least the NPC for the Magi, I seem to get her show up very rarely. I have gotten the Primalist, I don't know, half a dozen times, and the Breaker of Oaths, I see that guy constantly. He's in almost every one that I get. So I don't know if these are weighted in any different way or if I just have bad luck. And when I switched, the reason I ended up switching to the Primalist here the final time was because I wanted to get to the Magi chick. But I couldn't get her to show up, and I was like, all right, fine. And the Primalist showed up like right then. I was like, all right, that just decides it for me. I was trying to find her to buy tinctures, but then the Primalist showed up and I'm like, all right, done deal. I'm just going to switch over. So I just switched right on over to Primalist and moved on. And of course, the very next time I go into the Wildwood, the chick from the Magi shows up like the next 2 or 3 maps in a row. And I'm like, what is it, because I just have the different one and it's giving me the ones that I don't have? I didn't understand that. The other thing I want to point out, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this or not, but it looks to me like if you follow the yellow stuff, not only do you get to go to certain encounters, maybe a boss fight or something like that. There are specific boss fights for these, like the Black Morrigan for the one, which is what I had to do for the primal one there. But I also seem like they have, and this is something I didn't really notice early on. Like I played a lot of this early in the campaign, like Acts 1 through 5, then 6 through 10, I kind of dipped out of it. But now that I'm back, I got my build kind of squared away and I'm in the mapping portion. I kind of went back into the Wildwood stuff to check it out. I'm noticing, I noticed this earlier, depending on the color you follow, depends on the monsters you meet. So if you follow the purple guy, you get those bastard cultists, which now that I'm looking at the quests for it, it makes sense. And I saw this quest, but I didn't really think about it. I thought, it's just 500 cultists. Okay, whatever. But those are the purple guys that are associated with that wisp. Like you're going to find those guys more often, which is why I'm saying I kind of ignore the purple stuff. And the same thing goes with these. If you go have to work on the Magi one, you have to go after wisps. Or the treants. You have to rescue the 4,000 vivid wisps by defeating the treants. And the treants are little yellow tree guys. And it makes sense now that I understand that if you follow that color, you're going to find monsters for that color. And where I noticed it was with these nameless. So I had to kill 500 nameless. And I noticed that as I followed the blue stuff's kind of hard to see with the other blue particles floating around, but you can see them. They are bigger particles, so they do show up. It's just a little difficult to see. But you have to kill 500 nameless, and I started noticing a lot of monkeys and stuff like that over there, and they were like nameless, whatever they were, primates or something like that. So there are monsters that are also color coded by whatever you follow. So what I'm trying to drive at is I was trying to go towards yellow and purple a lot because I was finding more of those than I was the blue stuff for a while, or vice versa, however it went. So I would end up going probably in the wrong direction. So if I needed to do tasks for the yellow magi person, I needed to be following the yellow mist. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like that makes sense. And I should have picked up on that sooner, but I don't know, for whatever reason I didn't. So anyway, let's jump in the game. All right, I saw this little tip pop up on somebody's video. Basically, they said if you go over a map and you hold down the control button, when you click on it, it will let you select new instances. Basically, when you load into a map, you'll see it here in a second, but when you load into a map, it creates an instance, and then you go in and play on it. And I've known about this trick, I've just never tried it, and I finally saw somebody talking about it, and I thought, all right, it seems like a good time to try it. I never understood what this would be for. But basically, you can reload that map and then keep going on the same map. And the reason you do it is when you load into this, it creates an instance. Well, this instance will be partially completed when I go over here and dive into, and we're a little bit loud. So if I dive into this Viridian Wildwood, this is going to use up this instance, and I would need to actually reload it to go somewhere else, or to come back in here. So basically what people are doing is rerunning this map over and over and over again because it's at the campaign difficulty rather than mapping and stuff like that. So it makes this encounter stuff a little easier. So if I go over this way, we're getting yellow. There's the treant people. So the spiders and stuff like that I don't think matter. The wolves don't matter. But this stuff's all treants. And these are on the yellow side of things. It looks like everything's yellow in here. So that's pretty much all I have to choose from. But I kind of wanted to talk about some of the other stuff that I've seen in here too. I got a little, I don't know, it was a statue or something that said about material conversion. You could actually convert, you know, if you collect the currency, this stuff down here, what is this, the vivid wisps or whatever, the primal wisps. If you collect that stuff in here, you can actually convert one to the other. And I did that to great success earlier. But the other thing I wasn't sure of is if this banked this currency, whatever these wisps are, you know, I'll call it currency. I wasn't sure if it banked this outside of the map or just inside the map, and it's just inside the map. So the currency you generate here is all you get. You don't get any other currency at all. It doesn't carry over to the next map, so you can't just have like 20,000 and go buy everything at the vendor. You got to consistently regather at every map. So that's kind of sucks in some regards. I mean, it's not a deal breaker by any stretch, but trying to go to the blue chick, see if I can find her, get her to show up again. But I don't know where she's at. Here we go. Yeah, see, these are nameless. So if you follow the blue stuff, there's nameless, and there she is. Is she the right one? Nope, she's not the primalist. She's the other one. Although she was in the middle of the... well, whatever. So this one now shows up all the time. When I couldn't find her at all, I wanted to buy tinctures and try them out. I could never find her. Now I see her constantly. It's just the way it works. But like these tinctures don't look very good. All damage can ignite. Okay. Over damage leeches life. That's kind of cool, I guess. All damage shocks, damage pin. All damage could poison, gain mana. None of these seem really good. I had one that stunned everybody when you landed on them, so I would leap. Well, it stunned on the first hit when they had no health, so I would leap slam into them and then just start wailing on them while they're stunned and drop all my totems and everything. I was hoping I could find that primalist chick so I could talk to her. I want to see what I can buy. Let's see here. So we come out here, we go over here, we click on this with the control button, and then we select new. It reloads this instance to a new instance, and there we go. So if I control click over this again, you'll see the instance I just left, which has 7 minutes left, and now this one is the one I'm in currently, which is a fresh set for this Wildwood. So I found that material conversion thing. I found some strong boxes here and there. I killed the boss on one of them in a big circle there. There were these chittering egg things. I think there was 8 or so of those, and you'd click on them. I think they dropped currency, so that first one I've seen of that. There was a dark gift shrine. This thing was really cool. It gave you 200% rarity for 5 minutes. It would show up here in the box, and I believe that is, you go into the Wildwood, you generate everything, and then you exit the Wildwood through that portal, and it throws all the stuff into the map here. I think that dark gift shrine is only for the map you're in. So it would kick all that stuff out to the monsters, and then it's 5 minutes for here. But 200% item rarity was pretty cool. And the one other thing I would point out here real quick is that you can have more than one NPC in a map. I did find that out. I've ran into times where I've had 2 of them show up multiple times. So it's not just one NPC on the map. I'm kind of curious if you can get all 3 at all. Not sure. I have not seen some of the crazy stuff, like there's supposed to be an NPC that sells uniques and stuff like that. I have not found him yet. And this is kind of as far as I've gotten. Oh, I need to show off my... Yeah, we'll go back to town. Remind me when we go back to town. I want to show off the ascendancy portion of this and talk about that for a brief minute before we bail on this. I like the pulsing tubers. Everybody loves pulling on a pulsing tuber, I think. I kind of wonder if that language was chosen specifically. I'm not sure, but whatever. It's kind of funny nonetheless. This thing is not dying. It took a lot of damage early on, and now it's just not dying. All right. Well, that didn't go as quickly as it should have. Anyway, so not collecting anything here. Go off in here. Let's see if we can get the portal. I'm not getting the primalist person to come up. So I'm ready to just get out of here now at this point. Actually, it was kind of in a spider area that I found that, was it chitterling? Yeah, that chitterling thing. So now I'm starting to get the, yeah, see, there's a primal empowered. Oh, that's Dreadfang. It's named. Yeah, cultist warriors. Never mind. I was going to say it might be showing the nameless stuff. Let's go back to town here. So if we come over to the stash, I've been collecting this stuff. Like, I collected a few of these things that looked cool. I don't know if I'm going to use these or not for the, whatever this one was for. The more minion-based one is from what I see. I don't know if I'm going to use those, but I bought a few of them just in case I wanted to, because I didn't know how rare the NPCs were going to be. And then I bought some of these tinctures. Like, these tinctures just suck. I've not really liked any of these. I think the one I was running was this one, which... this is like the best thing that it had to offer. Damaging hits always stun enemies that are on full life. Okay, cool. You could stun bosses and stuff and then get your totem set up and kind of go from there. It was great. That's cool. Then there was 24% increased rarity of items dropped. All right, whatever. And then overwhelm, 13% of physical damage reduction, which I'm a physical damage build. So it seemed like it was good. But that's the best tincture I found. I didn't try running some of these other, like I only ran one. I probably should have ran several of them, but you can only have one tincture on at a time. That's right. You can't have more. So like the rest of these just kind of are mediocre. Like none of this seemed great, but then you go over to these charms and like this one, 10% increased maximum recovery per life leech. Like that, I'm doing a lot of life leech. That instantly fits my build. And then enemies you kill that are affected by elemental ailments grant 21% increased flash charges. That's cool. Like, that's an added bonus. But there's some really cool ones. What I'm actually running is this. I'm not using this one for the traps, but this one, you and all nearby allies have plus 10% to elemental resistances. This one's got plus 14% elemental resistances. Like, this is a no-brainer to take the Primalist because you can socket in 3 of these and they stack. So... my elemental resistances are way up. I'm way beyond where I was because I've got 24% extra elemental resistance. So like I had issues with that I no longer have because I've got this. So it's so easy to see why people went Primalist. And this little slide out tray you get for the extra storage, I don't know why they don't put this on all of those. Like, this should be part of every one of the ascendancies, just as an incentive to try the ascendancies. As it is now, Primalist is completely overpowered, and there's pretty much no reason to use the other 2 that I know of. I mean, I don't necessarily know everything about this game for sure, but as far as I can tell, a lot of people are selecting Primalist and stacking all kinds of cool stuff, whereas the other ones have a lot more limitations and don't seem to do as well. Another drawback on the tincture, well, on the Magi side, is that you have the bark skin. I thought bark skin was completely useless. I don't know what it did, but it took up a mana reservation. So it was like Determination, Warbanner, or Pride, or some of those. And at one point, there was something, I think it was Determination. I couldn't actually run Determination. Well, I had to trade out because I could do Barkskin. I didn't have, long story, but I didn't have enough mana reservation for Determination anyway. But I would have had to kick something out to run Barkskin, and Barkskin doesn't seem like it's that worth it. So, and then the tinctures weren't that great. I just wasn't really, I didn't care for them all that much. So I don't know if there's a build that runs tinctures very well. I don't know. I just quit trying to tinker with it. I came over here to Primalist. I'm sure this Warcries opening things might be kind of cool. I'm not sure. I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to go up in here. Why would I do anything other than go up into this Charm Saga? You know what I mean? Actually, we might get this one. Because don't we get 4? I think we get 4 attempts at it. I've done 2. I'm on the 3rd quest. I got to kill some boss or something. That's probably what I need to do. And then we do get the 4th one. So I'd be able to socket or have the 3 sockets plus that. But again, I mean, this is just like added filler at the end. It's like a little cherry on top bonus. I don't know. But the other 2 ascendancies seem kind of bad. I hope they rework them in some way. I really hope they add this tray to all 3 of the ascendancies, because that just makes this one so much better. Because you can throw quest items in here, just get crap out of the way, the travel skills. And this really needs to come to the base game. This, out of everything, needs to come to the base game in some fashion. I don't care if you do a special quest to get it unlocked, because this is just a little button right here and a little side socket to it. I don't know, but we need this in the base game. I think that's a fantastic thing to have on top of everything else. Whether it's tied to an ascendancy or not, that is awesome. And I do like the stacked ascendancies because you're getting extra stuff on it. But anyway, I thought I would throw my experience out with what I've found so far. How's the Wildwood been treating you guys? You found some cool stuff. I know there's a lot of people way farther than I am, probably fought the bosses and have all the ascendancy stuff selected and everything, and got some really cool stuff. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what you guys say about it, what you think about everything, and how they could fix some of the other ascendancies that don't seem as good or maybe a little more mediocre. So anyway, that will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.